let's go to our content again. We're going to look at our exercise. What the exercise is, what you're handing in, is this drawing. And I have two videos. The first video is all about how to draw these objects in a room. And you're going to do your best to get things, well, try to get them a little bigger than I've drawn them here. And I think in the video, I did a better job. This isn't the one directly from the video. I did a better job of sizing them. So I think you should be okay to make them a good size. And then it's going to show you, the next video is going to show you how to do the shadows. So this is the central lighting videos. There are two of them. Before that, there are 3 warm-up exercises. Please do the warm-up exercises. No, you don't have, you're not going to hand them in. You're not handing them in. You're handing this one thing in. You're drawing it exactly as you're being shown in the video. And that's it. That's all it is. Just that one drawing. When I show you the documentation, keep this in mind and it will make sense. Okay. It's called Central Lighting Diagram. You're going to make a PDF of it and put it in the Slate Exercise 1 Dropbox. Now, for all of you that have submitted your Please Tell Me About You document, thank you so very, very much. And it's not too late to do that. It was meant to give you practice at this very thing, going into assessments, assignments, and finding the assignment that you want to upload to. So that's what you would do with this as well. After you get your drawing done, take a photograph or take a cam scanner of it and make sure it's a PDF and look at it. Make sure that it's not out of focus or that you didn't tilt the camera toward you. That's the most common mistake. People tilt the camera toward themselves and the sides of their page are no longer straight and your perspective is no longer straight. See how this document, they've got this black piece right here? That is how you tell whether or not your photograph is straight. I can see there's an equal space between all of this, all the way down and all the way down the other side. So you can leave a little margin like that around your paper, around your drawing. Now, don't get too close to it or too far away from it. If you're too close, you get a wide angle sort of thing, or too far, you get a weird kind of distortion. Do your best. And remember, take your photograph as many times as you need to get it to look great. And daylight is best. Take it outside if you can, in the shade, or in front of a window is even better. Don't put your shadow over it. Watch for your shadow over your drawing. Don't let that happen. That way you can tell that your image is going to be straight, because your mark is depending on how well you take that photograph. Honestly, it really is. You'll have to be very careful about it and do it as many times as it takes for you to get something great, something terrific. These are our geometric shapes and they are incredibly important. Everything we draw in this course or in your future, you'll begin with a simple box or a simple geometric shape and build on top of it. Build smaller shapes, detail, over top of that. So that's extremely important for us. And presentation, we're always working on presentation. We want to do the best presentation of what we have to say as we can. This is a piece of communication. We need to be clear and confident, and your drawings will need to be clear and confident. To prepare, I'd encourage you to do the warm-up exercises. Make your drawings while you're listening to what I'm saying. I know people love to work from music, and you can have some music in the background, but please listen to what I'm saying. If you're just copying what you see, you won't understand it and you won't be able to apply it when we use it for our sketches or when you use it later on. This is not your only drawing course. You're going to be doing this for your whole 2 years that you're here, and you need to be able to carry over this information. It's going to be expected that you know this information when you embark on your next course. For your central lighting diagram, use one whole 11 by 14 inch page. Place your vanishing points as you're instructed, and turn your paper so that it's wide and not tall. Use your black ballpoint pen and your pencil crayons. And you can use your ruler and your set square or any straight edge you want in order to map out your shadows. You don't, in the video, I do it freehand, but you don't have to do it that way. And I'd rather you didn't. It's important, I think, to have some accuracy in this drawing for better understanding. Also, you can draw your geometric shapes with your ruler or your straight edge as well. Draw the whole thing with your straight edge. That's perfectly fine. And what I want you to do. And leave everything in there. Leave all your perspective lines. Show me how you got to that final drawing. Leave it all in. Just make the outside lines of your objects darker so that it reads smoothly. I can understand what I'm seeing. A black ink border around the perimeter of the edge of your paper is crucial. And in the end, you can have one PDF to load up to Slate in the Exercise 1 folder. Your proportions of your elements are going to vary a little bit. You probably noticed that already when we're sketching together in class, that it's really difficult because you don't know where I'm headed when I'm sketching. It's difficult to get the exact same measurement. But this is a skill you want to develop, the ability to be able to use relative scale. So relative to what you're seeing, how big should I make that? Try to match it as best you can. And keep the placement the same. The cylinder and cone are at the back of the room, and the sphere and the 2-point perspective cube are at the front. Here are the parameters that are going to be around how this piece is evaluated. I'll be filling out this form and giving it to you as feedback for your work. If it doesn't show that you understand perspective, or you don't understand how to map your shadows, your mark will be anywhere from 0 to 4. If you do show that you understand the perspective, you understand how to do the shadow mapping, but your work is off in places, your verticals aren't straight, your size and placement is off by a great deal, then you'll have a pass, but it won't be very high. And this is when you have to start considering your grade point average. So you want all your grades to be up past 7, because that indicates that you are understanding of what you've been asked to do. You're putting things in the place that you were asked to place them. And it's looking pretty good. It's just maybe a little more refinement in how big you made things, or whether your lines are perfectly straight. So you're using your ruler, so the standards are a little higher here for you than when we're just sketching. And then 9 out of 10 indicates that everything is going beautifully. The only difference between a 9 and a 10 is maybe how you put the color in. Maybe it's not as neatly done as someone who got a 10. Or maybe the border is slightly off a bit, something happened there, or the whole presentation isn't just as impactful as it could be. So that's how those work. I find these to be extremely helpful, and I hope you will as well. The particulars, of course, we're looking at perspective. Are you using the horizon line and the vanishing points correctly? Are you using the ellipse diagram that I'm going to show you today? Are you using that correctly? And your scale and proportions, don't hand in something where there are little teeny tiny objects in a room all floating around. You want to make the drawing more impactful. And the one I'm showing you here is not as impactful as the one I drew in the video. So those sizes are a little bit more acceptable. So even I had to do this a couple of times before I got to an arrangement that was a little bit more pleasing. I'm going to look at your shadow shapes, make sure that they are correct, that you understand how to map your shadows. And your ellipses need to be rounded, not oval. So your judgment on how to make an equal-sided box in perspective is really important here. You need to know how to do that to make an ellipse. A circle that will sit down in space, not pop up. And that you've used black ink. Now, if you like, you can do your first drawing of it in pencil. Just erase all that pencil and finish up with a black ink line and put in your shadows with pencil crayon. Now, I think everyone should have their kit by then, so you can use whichever colors you like for your pencil. We're just using black ballpoint pens, and you can use the Sharpie, or you can use the little package of pigment liners. You can use those. Go up to the top here, and it tells you assigned week 2, due in the Dropbox by 10 p.m. week 3. All of our in-class sketches are about applying this to your everyday work. How would you use these ideas in your everyday work? So you never have to hand in the exercises we do in class. They're just a chance for you to play with these ideas and to warm up so that when you get to the exercise, you have a deeper understanding of it. And not only that, you have an understanding of why you need to learn this in the first place. Follow the steps in the videos. They're very detailed, very complete. See what you come up with. You can't help it. Every single person is unique. And your handedness is extremely different from mine. How you draw every line will be different than how I draw it. So we want more and more and more for you to be comfortable with you, with how you do things. Get onto the paper, see what happens. For example, you may just love spheres, and your sphere will be a big piece in your drawing. You just love it, and that's what happens, and that's okay, as long as the rest of the objects fit with it. Or some people are very, very bold in their work, and they have these really dynamic drawings. Mine, because I'm doing it for you and I'm showing an example, I rein myself in and just do a very bland, basic drawing.